Here's the story. There was three guys who were trying to travel to somewhere and to go to a hotel. So on the way, it was fine. So it's three guys and one kid, which was the brother. So basically, from their home area, which was another part of the area that's city-like, but small city, well, they were there. But once they went through a very dark road where it was in the forest, they followed it because it was also a highway too. They followed it. They had their windows halfway down. They heard a weird noise that sounded like a little screech. So they pulled over and they went there to investigate the forest. Yes, you heard me, the dark forest. So at the dark forest, they were looking around. So as they were looking around further in the forest, then they heard those noises still. But the three boys were looking away. Until then, they looked around and realized the little brother was missing. They were afraid. They were panicking. They were going around the forest. So they found a hut. And then there was a hatch that they were able to open. It was a hut that had a hatch that led to an underground tunnel that had stairs that you could go down it, and torches and some lights. So there was two ways that you could go when you go further, because the other way is unknown and the other way leads out to some other part of the forest. So they went that way. Then when they heard some awkward noises, they followed it, but they didn't see anyone, no entity. So they were out there in that part of the forest. They found a tree. There was a paper with an unknown awkward message on there. But then there was another hut. There was no hatch. There was nothing in there. And there was no sign of the little kid that was the brother. So they decided to go back to the car. And they just went to the hotel, which was thankfully 10 miles away from the forest, which the hotel is in the city area, an urban area. But at that night, they made a call to the police to send out an Amber Alert of a missing kid. And then the police was gonna search for the kid. There was no sign of him at that time. But the three older brothers had an idea to go get guns, gear up, and to record a video. And they did record. So they went back to investigate. They heard the screeching noise, and they also heard the sound of a little boy scream and cry. They couldn't tell what it was, but they tried to follow it a little, and they tried to go back in the tunnel. But then, once they were in the tunnel, from a far distance, that they heard something and turned around, they saw something that looked like a person running and chasing them a little slowly. And once they looked, it was an entity creature that was chasing them and telling them some death threats, committing some sort of crime. But yeah. So then, as they went the other way, they went out of the tunnel on the other side of the forest, and basically they found another entity, and then the boy was there. But they thought of something. It was time to shoot the entity and kick ass. And they shot the entity, got rid of the entities, and then they heard other noises, and they looked around, and there was other people who were kidnapped and gone missing. So all the missing people were released and was to follow us to the hotel. And we notified the police that we took care of something and found something. And the police gave us a big reward. And definitely, this is a lesson never to run along in the woods and do something not smart. There will be another story that will come up after this. So like, follow, comment, share, and then basically you'll exactly hear the story. So yeah, there is more parts. Anyways, see ya. Bye.